but that Carneloot also had a question about, do you guys have any tips on convincing my coworkers into adopting Effect? I mean, there's a couple of different ways to go about this. I think greenfield projects for work are always like an easy answer to that question, but you don't always have the luxury of like picking the stack you're going to use for a greenfield project. I think that POCs like Bogdan mentions here is also a really good way to like introduce the team to Effect. But in my experience, I think that where Effect has the most like impact on other folks' opinions is when you can use it to solve like a problem that they're having, or like having a reliability solve a reliability issue that a particular piece of software in your stack is having. So like maybe there's a particular service that is very brittle in your stack, and maybe you could use Effect to try to improve like even just like simple things. Maybe you don't improve like the reliability of the service right away. Maybe you introduce like telemetry and other things to try to help with tracing what's going on as part of that service. It's not always the easiest thing. Like usually you have to scope down to like a very specific piece of an application and work your way up from there, especially if you're introducing Effect into an existing piece of software. But I think that usually, and from what I've heard from folks, that's like where you get the most bang for your buck in terms of helping your coworkers try to see the value in something like Effect and try to like make the decision to take the plunge and learn how to use Effect, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully that helps. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. Maybe Mattia, you have a different like opinion, but that's just like what I think.
No, I definitely agree. I think that that's like the strongest point you can make. You can, like, as Maxwell said, try to find one brittle, like one very fragile part of your application and see how that would translate to effect, and then show off what you can also like leverage in order to not have again that feeling of that part of the application being brittle. I just Maxwell mentioned like the telemetry, like the typed errors, the dependency that then allows you to do more testability more easily. Those are a lot of things that help you try to invest into effect. Also, one thing that I always like to joke about with people is, do you know what an abort controller is? Because I don't think that anyone shipping a JavaScript application is manually passing down and manually composing abort controllers. So everyone has basically issues with resources not being properly released or whatever, and that's it's all related to the fact that plain JavaScript has issues with the way interruption and composability is handled.